What is going on, football family? We are back with another film session. To start up my college film run this year, I want to talk about linebacker slash edge rusher Abdul Carter from Penn State. He's been an absolute game changer this year, the face of Penn State's football team and one of the elite prospects in this draft class. With his ability to wreck games, he's ready to make an impact in the big leagues. So let's dive in and see what makes this player special. So when you're taking a look at Abdul Carter, you're seeing a 6'3, 253-pound versatile defender who can wreck games on any given play. And this film proves it. Coming out of high school as a four-star recruit, Carter went on to become a 2024 unanimous All-American, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and first team All Big Ten selection. His grit and dedication to the team showed when he played through a shoulder injury during the college football playoffs, exactly the kind of toughness that scouts love to see. So on this play here, Carter demonstrates his exceptional linebacker instincts and athleticism. He patrols the field from sideline to sideline before reaching the quarterback with explosive burst. And with this player's perfect timing, it allowed him to deliver a hit and force a fumble. And this is exactly what you want to see from your top defender. So we'll go ahead and rock with it. So locking on this play here, just studying Abdul Carter. We love for our linebackers to be patient. On top of that, you got to be able to use your eyes. But watching him lurk on that quarterback, and then the quarterback tries to scramble outside the pocket. But seeing the closing speed from Abdul Carter, once he can be able to get his eyes on you, he has enough athletic ability to close and finish these plays, wrapping that quarterback and forcing a fumble. And you got to have that see ball, get ball mentality. There's the ball right there. This is how you can really set the tone playing defense in the NFL. And it's not easy to be able to find players that's talented like him. You can't compare him to a player like Micah Parsons playing that linebacker position as well as the edge position, roaming sideline to sideline and making big time plays. And what was so special about this player last season, he wasn't just doing this one game, he was doing this week in and week out, leading the Big Ten with 11 sacks this past season with 22 tackles for a loss. And those type of stats there is what can separate you from everybody in this draft class. And some people that keep up with PFF grades, well, he was graded a 90 throughout this whole season. Well, that shows that this player was going out there and really impacting these games. On top of being a player who generated 56 pressures this year. So seeing him going out there, lurking on that quarterback, roaming sideline to sideline, and forcing a fumble was great to see by the young defensive star. Here's a play here where Abdul Carter showcases his explosive rip move, a technique that he's been sharpening all throughout this season. And watching him burst off the line of scrimmage and violently rip through the offensive lineman's outside shoulder with perfect leverage and hand placement was a thing of beauty. And this is an athlete who has made a living getting into backfields and completely disrupting plays. So we're going to split it. So locking on this play here, just watching Abdul Carter firing off the ball, and he gives a quick rip. And usually, when you can be able to attack that outside shoulder and turn those hips, you can be able to bend that edge and get close to the quarterback. And you see, he's stretching those long arms, turning that corner, and using that left arm to be able to take down that quarterback. And this is the first year of Abdul Carter playing that edge rusher position. So there's going to be some technique things that he's going to have to get down, but you can see the pure athleticism when it comes down to this athlete. And there are a lot of athletic players coming out of this draft class as far as the linebacker position as well as the edge. But he is the most explosive player that I have seen coming off the line of scrimmage for sure. And he might end up being one of the guys that run a 4.4 at the combine. So I will definitely be locked in on that for sure. But to see this player on film using swim moves, cross chops, rip moves, he has the ability to be able to do it all. But there's always room to grow and get better. But this was another good rep by Abdul Carter using that rip move and finding a way to be able to hunt down the quarterback. If you want to see some of the best NFL and college football helmets and upgrade your man cave or your room, check out Green Gridiron's page in the description. These helmets are torch, available in mini or regular size with the visors, and they are built to last a lifetime. Click the link and use promo code JC Network for a discount on these amazing helmets. Now let's get back to the film session. One thing about Carter, not only is he athletic, but he shows incredible toughness on the field. You'll see him use his strength and technique by squaring up perfectly against the pulling tight end. And what makes this play stand out is he was able to still get his hands on a running back, showing his ability to both take on blocks and make plays in the trenches. So we're going to run it. So zooming in on Abdul Carter, watching him and that tight end clash with each other. They always say the lowest man wins. You got to go out there and hold your own. And usually, when you can be low and physical like that, on top of driving your legs, you can be able to knock these guys back. But seeing him fighting it out with that tight end, there he goes again right there. And he got his hands on the running back. And it's great to be able to see this player's behavior zoomed in and in slow motion because I do not want y'all to miss what this player is doing on the field. And sometimes when you're playing defense in the NFL, you got to play with gap integrity. You got to be very physical. Sometimes you might not be the player going out there and making that play, but if you can play sound ball, this is what coaches love. And to be one of the defenders that's not only doing this in the first quarter and the second quarter, but you're doing this in the second half as well. So he's one of the players that does not let the foot off the gas. And sometimes with these offenses in college as well as the NFL, if you're playing physical like this, by the end of these games, you can be able to get them where you want them. But this was another solid rep by Abdul Carter, setting that edge and attacking that tight end and still getting his hands on the running back was fireworks, going out there and getting it done. Now, with Abdul Carter is not going to be perfect when it comes down to this prospect. Sometimes these offensive linemen, they get their hands on him and completely washes him out the play. And I'm sure once he gets to the NFL, he will get a lot stronger, eating that NFL peanut butter and getting himself into position. Because these offensive linemen at the next level, they will be a lot stronger versus college. And it's pretty much the same thing that we saw from Micah Parsons. Once he got into the league, he got even more stronger, and that made him that much more better of a player. But finding ways for him to not get engulfed by these offensive linemen is something that I'm going to keep my eye on with this player as he goes along further in his career. Here's a rep where I love Carter's footwork. He gives the offensive lineman a quick hezzy step before cutting inside to attack the quarterback. That quick footwork could be the biggest difference on the play, forcing the blocker to overthink and get out of position. These are the momentum shifting plays that Carter lives for. So let's run it. So running this play here, just locking in on Abdul Carter's footwork, to seeing him squaring up with that defender and plants his right foot. And usually when you're playing that edge rusher position, defensive end, as well as defensive tackle, all it takes is one sudden movement to make a big time play. So he knifes inside and finds his way to the quarterback again. And with this player's skill set, I think that he can make a huge impact as far as his rookie season. But the sky is truly the limit when it comes down to him. Because once he does get on the field, you will see him going up against a lot of these tackles where they try to lunge too quickly and they're not athletic enough to be able to deal with him. And with me personally, I think that he can be able to thrive in a 4-3 as well as a 3-4. But you do have some scouts out there that believes he's a stand-up edge rusher in a 3-4 base system. But to see him successful at playing that off-ball linebacker position, the edge position, I think that he can be able to do some good work for any kind of defense. But seeing him using that hezzy step, juking that offensive tackle, and getting to the quarterback ended up being another solid play by Carter. Here's another rep of him being able to use good footwork again and slant inside and get to the quarterback. His ability to be able to disrupt offensive game plans makes this player a true difference maker on the field. So let's run it. So looking at this play here, watching the offensive tackle and Abdul Carter's right foot, you see as soon as he plants it, his body shifts to the outside and Abdul Carter hops right inside. And these type of movements here is why he's been making so many plays because when you can be an edge defender that can play sudden, you can be snappy as well as being slippery, it's hard for these offensive tackles to be able to deal with, whether if it's college or the NFL. When you can be able to have these fast moves and use good footwork, as well as a player with great closing speed, it is amazing to see. And seeing this player's talent from this past season, I would be shocked if this guy gets outside of the top 5 in this draft. There were even talks about this player being in the Heisman conversation, so that shows that this player has been putting in a lot of work. A great rep by juking that offensive tackle and making another big time play. So with Abdul Carter, this is a player that NFL teams are pressing to have on their team. He is the whole package, rushing the passer, playing linebacker, and flat out flying around the field. And what's crazy is he is getting better every day, which is scary to think about. And whoever snags him, they will be getting a potential superstar, a player that has the ability to go out there and wreck games. So on this final play here, we see him drop in coverage and use his awareness and athleticism to bat the ball down. This is something else that he can bring to an NFL team. So it's good to see him with this versatility as well, playing all throughout the trenches. So let's run it. So running this play here, just watching him shoot out in coverage. It's good to see this linebacker going out there and backpedaling, flipping his hips and breaking onto the ball. So the quarterback steps up, he closes in and bats the ball down. And you can see that this player is just super athletic. He has very long arms. And most importantly, he's going out there and playing with good instincts. And the better defensive coordinators in the NFL, you will find ways to be able to utilize this player. If it's shooting this player out in coverage, roaming sideline to sideline, playing on the edge, playing off ball linebacker, this player will jump off the screen. And being at Penn State this past season and really making an impact, he has definitely earned the hype for sure. So it's going to be good to see how it all plays out with Abdul Carter. He has really separated himself from everybody in this draft class. And he is arguably good enough to go number one overall. Not sure if that's going to happen because of the top two teams' quarterback situations, but that just shows that this player has the ability to change games. And wearing that number 11 means everything when it comes down to Penn State. LeVar Arrington, Micah Parsons, they also sported it as well. And those are two former Penn State players that are really rooting for him. Sometimes you can just see that dog when it comes down to defensive players. And with Abdul Carter, he definitely has that in him. So comment below and let me know what y'all think about Carter and who else do y'all want me to break down just like this. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss out on fire updates and the best football film sessions on YouTube. All right, football family. Talk to y'all soon. Gone.